God is still on his throne. Prayer changes everything, and praise can move mountains. Lord Yahweh, let us be attentive to your word, humble and obedient every day, so that we can become vessels of your honor. This message is called, But I Want It All Right Now. God has been around a long, long time, and like any good patriarch or father, he knows human nature. He knows that those who work to achieve that which the Lord grants will appreciate both the gift and the giver. Proverbs 2 verses 1 through 20, Amplified Version. My son, if you will receive my words and treasure up my commandments within you, making your ear attentive to skillful and godly wisdom, and inclining and directing your heart and mind to understanding, applying all your powers to the quest for it. Yes, if you cry out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek wisdom as for silver, and search for skillful and godly wisdom as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the reverent and worshipful fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of our omniscient God. Yehovah. For the Lord gives skillful and godly wisdom. From the mouth of Yehovah come knowledge and wisdom. He hides away sound and godly wisdom, and it stores it for the righteous, those who are upright and in right standing with him. He is a shield to those who walk uprightly and in integrity, that he may guard the paths of justice. Yes, he preserves the way of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness, justice, and fair dealing in every area and relation. Yes, you will understand every good path, for skillful and godly wisdom shall enter into your heart, and knowledge shall be pleasant to you. Discretion shall watch over you. Understanding shall keep you, to deliver you from the way of evil and the evil men, from men who speak perverse things and are liars, men who forsake the paths of righteousness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the perverseness of evil, who are crooked in their ways, wayward and devious in their paths. Discretion shall watch over you, understanding shall keep you, to deliver you from the alien woman, from the outsider with her flattering words, who forsakes the husband and guides her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house sinks down to earth, and her paths to the spirits of the dead. That could be necromancy, those people who pray to like ancestors and speak to the dead for spiritual insight and things of that nature. Now, none who go to her return again. Could be also a fortune teller too. Neither do they attain or regain the paths of life. So may you walk in the way of good men, and keep to the paths of the consistently righteous, the upright, the right standing with God. He knows that those to whom great things are given freely use it up, and then become sluggish and haughty in their desire for more freebies. In welfare, we have whole generations of people who sincerely believe that they can get everything they want just by throwing a fit and demanding it be given to them. We currently have a system pumping out spoiled adult babies by the millions. They forget the gift came from God and become unthankful and totally focused on the gift itself. All the while they become more and more bitter towards the giver. Proverbs 4, verses 14 through 27. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, and do not go on it. Turn from it, and pass on. For they cannot sleep unless they have caused trouble or vexation. Their sleep is taken away unless they have caused someone to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness, and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the uncompromisingly just and righteous is like the light of dawn, that shines more and more, brighter and clearer, until it reaches its full strength and glory in the perfect day, to be prepared. The way of the wicked is like deep darkness. They do not know over what they stumble. My son, attend to my words. Consent and submit to my sayings. Let them not depart from your sight. Keep them in the center of your heart, for they are life to those who find them, healing and health to all their flesh. Keep and guard your heart with all vigilance, and above all that you guard, for out of it flows the springs of life. Put away from you false and dishonest speech, and willful and contrary talk. Put far from you. Let your eyes look right on with fixed purpose, and let your gaze be straight before you. Consider well the path of your feet. Let all your ways be established and ordered aright. Turn not aside to the right hand nor to the left, and remove your foot from evil. Jude 1, verses 11 through 13. Woe to them, for they have run riotously in the way of Cain, and have abandoned themselves for the sake of gain, following the error of Balaam, and have perished in rebellion like that of Korah, which was the rebellion against Moses during the Exodus. Verse 12. These are hidden reefs, elements of danger in your love feasts, where they boldly feast sumptuously, carousing together in your midst, without scruples, providing for themselves and no one else. They are clouds without water, swept along by winds, trees without fruit, at the late autumn gathering time, twice doubly dead, lifeless and plucked up by the roots. Wild waves of the sea, flinging up foam from their own shame and disgrace. Wandering stars, for whom the gloom of eternal darkness has been reserved forever. We have others who get the gift, and then they run away with it. They wonder why their gift fades over time. But they were the ones that chose to dig up and plant themselves here, there, and everywhere where they thought that they could get more money. Jesus was still right where they left him. They saw what little they had faded, and instead of turning back to Jesus, who was actually the source of their gifting in the first place, they grew resentful of others who possessed the same gifts that they had earned justly. So many who received the whole shebang all at once, without doing the work, without going through the many difficult trials involved to earn it, tend to become greedy. It happens because they are still in that fleshly nature, the carnal mindset. These get distracted from the reason why the gift was given in the first place. They become self-righteous, believing that they deserve more because they were there first. They begin to hate and to blame others for their state. Who are they to judge how long the Lord has been working in the life of another person or another believer? The trials of one whom the Lord chooses are lifelong. The Lord will push and pull, include and even exclude, and nudge at all things in a person's life until it reaches that which he deems as acceptable for their specific calling. Even then, he continues to make adjustments to further his will in the process. And this is the process for those who are obedient to the call of Jehovah. Unfortunately, for the ones who have become bitter and resentful, they disqualify themselves, because Jehovah cannot look upon sin. Switching now to Habakkuk 1, verses 1 through 17. The oracle which Habakkuk the prophet saw. Lord, how long will I cry, and you not hear? I cry out to you violence, and will you not save? Why do you show me iniquity, and look at perversity? For destruction and violence are before me. There is strife, and contention rises up. Therefore the law is paralyzed, and justice never prevails. For the wicked surround the righteous. Therefore justice comes out perverted. The Lord's reply. Look among the nations, watch and wonder marvelously, for I am working a work in your days which you will not believe, though it is told you. For behold, I will raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation that march through the breadth of the earth, to possess dwelling places that are not theirs. They are feared and dreaded. Their judgment and their dignity proceed from themselves. Their horses are swifter than leopards, and more fierce than evening wolves. Their horsemen press proudly on. Yes, their horsemen come from afar. They fly as an eagle that hurries to devour. All of them come for violence. Their hordes face the desert. He gathers prisoners like the sand. Yes, he scoffs at kings, and princes are a derision to him. He laughs at every stronghold, for he builds up an earthen ramp and takes the fort. Then he sweeps by like the wind and goes on. He is indeed guilty whose strength is his God. Aren't you from everlasting? My Lord, my God, my Holy One, we will not die, Lord. You have appointed him for judgment. You, Rock, have established him to punish. You, who have purer eyes than to see evil, and who cannot look upon perversity, why do you tolerate those who deal treacherously, and keep silent when the wicked swallows up the man who is more righteous than he, and make men like the fish of the sea, like creeping things that have no ruler over them? He takes up all of them with the hook. He catches them in his net, and gathers them in his dragnet. Therefore he rejoices and is glad. Therefore he sacrifices to his net, and burns incense to his dragnet, because by them his life is luxurious, and his food is good. Will he therefore continually empty his net, and kill the nations without mercy? Continuing on into Habakkuk 2. I will stand at my watch and set myself on the ramparts, and will look out to see what he will say to me. He will answer concerning my complaint, or my question. The Lord answered me, write the vision, and make it plain on tablets, that he who runs may read it. For the vision is yet for the appointed time, and it hurries toward the end, and won't prove false. Though it takes time, wait for it, because it will surely come, it won't delay. Behold, his soul is puffed up. It is not upright in him, but the righteous will live by his faith. Yes, moreover, wine is treacherous. A haughty man who doesn't stay at home, who enlarges his desire as Sheol, Sheol is hell or the grave, and he is like death, and can't be satisfied, but gathers to himself all nations, and heaps to himself all peoples. Won't all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him who increases that which is not his, who enriches himself by extortion? How long? Won't your debtors rise up suddenly, and wake up those who make you tremble, and you will be their victim, because you have plundered many nations, and all the remnant of the peoples will plunder you, because of men's blood, and for the violence done to the land, to the city and all that who dwell in it. Woe to him who gets an evil gain for his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the hand of evil. That's those that take from the poor to pad their own wallet, but don't really care who they hurt in the process. You have devised shame to your house by cutting off many peoples, and have sinned against your soul, for the stone will cry out of the wall, and the beam of the woodwork will answer it. Woe to him who builds a town with blood, and establishes a city by iniquity. Behold, isn't it of the Lord of hosts that the peoples labor for the fire, and the nations weary themselves for vanity? For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Lord's glory, as the waters cover the sea. Woe to him who gives his neighbor drink, pouring your inflaming wine until they are drunk, so that you may gaze at their naked bodies. You are filled with shame and not glory. You will also drink and be exposed. The cup of the Lord's right hand will come around to you, and disgrace will cover your glory. For the violence done in Lebanon will overwhelm you, and the destruction of the animals, which made them afraid because of men's blood, and for the violence done to the land, to every city and to those who dwell in them. What value does the engraved image have that its maker has engraved on it? The molten image, even the teacher of lies, that he who fashions its form will trust in it, to make a mute idol. Woe to him who says to the wood, Awake, or to the mute stone, Arise. Shall this teach? Behold, it is overlaid with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in its midst. But the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth be silent before him. Thank you very much for listening, and God bless.